Hi, my name is Coach Victor Robledo. I've been working as a strength coach for almost 30 years and working a lot now as a life coach to help people put everything together. The mind and body are ultimately connected. And so if you're not addressing the mind, your body will not respond. And so today I did a few social media posts about problems with tight hips and tight back. And so I had some clients reach out and say, hey, can you create a video for us to keep it simple so that you can do these things on your own with the video? And so that's what I decided to do. So everything we're about to do is part of my greater system. My 5 pillars are always strength and conditioning. You got to do your strength and conditioning. If you're not doing your strength and conditioning, you're leaving a lot of amazing things on the table. You got to do your mobility work. You got to take care of your nutrition. You got to take care of your mindset, and you got to get a chance to play. So that makes up my 5 pillar system. You got to make sure when you're doing your programs that you're integrating all that. And so I've been traveling with my family for 5 years, full timing in an RV, and I work with all of my clients at this point via Zoom or FaceTime. And so they sent me this message. I'm in the middle of Utah doing some amazing rock climbing, trail running, and I had to get my conditioning and mobility work as well too. So we're going to get a chance to work on that today. I always think about keeping things simple and transitioning correctly. If you have a serious problem, go see a doctor. But otherwise, if you're just feeling achy, that's not an excuse not to get out and do movement. And so a lot of people just get ho hum, and they don't really feel like they can fix themselves. So let's take some steps to do that. Everything I'm going to have you do today, try to do everything 45 seconds as far as stretching. And then, so I'm in the middle of the campground, that happens. So we go 45 seconds for all the stretches, and 15 to 20 reps of everything. The way I like to work my videos is I talk technique, show you the movements, then you execute them. Depending on the amount of time you have, you can do 2 or 3 sets. One set will get you some benefit. So we're gonna start off with, for the low back and hamstrings, we're gonna start off with a bent leg bridge. Again, 15 reps, 45 seconds on the stretch. Quick reminder, when you're doing any movement, you gotta feel it. I always wanna provide heat so we get some pliability. So a lot of people just start stretching cold. Oh, of course they don't move. So let's start off with a classic bent leg bridge and hamstring. I'm gonna do a quick demo, then you hit pause, execute that 2 to 3 sets. Quick adjustment on that one. If for some reason you can't touch your toe, take a belt, wrap it around the foot. Do that. Hopefully you did that 2 or 3 times. Moving in the next combination is a side-lying abductor, right? So these muscles out here on the abductors get really weak. If you have any problems in your back, they start not really working well. The glutes start to have a problem with firing. If you don't feel your lunges or your squats in your glutes, especially if you're handling some load, there's a good chance you're getting some inhibition. That means those muscles aren't working right. So I always like to wake up those areas. So side lying leg lift, prehab movement for the abductors of the outer hip, and then we do a quad stretch from there. Again, if you need a strap to grab that foot, you can do that. So check it out. So hopefully you did that 1, 2, 3 times. Again, repetitions, hold the stretches for about 45 seconds, 15 to 20 reps on the movement. Moving on. Next 2 is actually 2 stretches, okay? So we're gonna go into, just because it adds a little bit of flow. So we're gonna go into an S stretch. We start working on the external rotators, the big muscles of the glutes. So if you're having any issues, sciatic type discomfort, a lot of times that's due to a tight piriformis. So this will be a good way to do that. And then spinal twist, which always feels amazing. 100% of my clients like to do spinal twist at the end of their workouts. This is a great way to integrate it. Check it out. "90 and 90 in the front and back, then lay down over that leg." So keeping things simple is critical to actually doing them. So I like to add simple transitions, simple movements. Again, hit pause when it's time to do the movement, and you can do it multiple times. All right, combination number 4 is a posterior tilt and a crunch. Victor, crunches, how's that part? Well, it does bend the thoracic part of your spine that's up here, and sometimes things can be tight. If you're tight in your low back, it's a great way to kind of finesse blood flow and mobility into your spine. The posterior tilt is a little bit trickier, so I can spend a little time talking about hip position here. So knees are slightly bent. You're going to basically swivel the hips. When we're talking about weight training and rehabilitative exercise, there's 3 major positions of the pelvis: neutral, anterior tilt, which is helpful for squats, and posterior tilt. And so we want to be able to lay down on our back, knees bent, and posterior tilt the pelvis. So we're pushing the low back into the ground. So we're going to do the posterior tilt and the crunch. All right, that's combination number 4. Now we're moving on to combination number 5, which is a lunge stretch and a hamstring stretch. We do this a lot in yoga series, so it flows beautifully back and forth. Again, we're doing each one for 45 seconds. You'll flow back and forth to this one. Again, you're hitting pause in between so you can do the movement. Again, just trying to give you a template to kind of follow so that you help your back or your hips or even some sciatic type discomfort go away. Lunge stretch, come forward, abs pulled in tight. Then come back, lift the toes up, lean forward. And we do the other side, same thing. Lunge, stretching through the psoas, stretching through the hip flexor, abs are pulled in. And then come back, an additional hamstring stretch. Can't touch the floor, you can hold on. That's why I did it on the bench here. All right, so we're down to our last combination, combination number 6. Now, there's no shortage of types of stretches or combinations. My job is here to just facilitate and hopefully motivate you to go fix yourself. Do something to get yourself better so you can go out and play. Last combination is a box pigeon and a single leg deadlift. I use this movement a lot before I put my guys or my gals into a traditional under a barbell or even swinging a kettlebell, just to kind of make sure that the hips are awake. Again, the idea is to try to make sure we get good sequencing, good muscular contractions. And so sometimes I like to do movements that I know I'm going to get the right involvement. So we're going to do a box pigeon. For that, you usually need a table, a box. I'm going to use the table here on the end. I'm going to fold up the yoga mat so that we get the leg up at 90 degrees on that table. We're going to hold that for time, and then I'm going to demonstrate the single leg deadlift that I like to practice with my clients. All right, that's it. That's your combination. Go execute it. Hopefully, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. You can reach out to me. If you feel like you're not accountable enough to do this, that's what I do. We can set you up for a consult and talk on the phone, see if it's a fit. All right.